Hello students, welcome to Ibps Upsc Ssc classes, and today we are going to talk about something which is extremely basic, but again something in which we have all faced problems. Tenses. Tenses are something that we have been learning since school level, right from class 5 or 6, but still we make mistakes. Even when we are in college or in university, we tend to make mistakes in tenses, but it's a basic foundation of not only our grammar but our regular everyday conversation or writing, and which is why tenses are extremely important. And today we are going to focus on certain rules which are very simple, but which, when we keep in mind, our entire processing of tenses gets easier. Rule number 1. In present indefinite sentences, the number and the person of the subject, which is whether it's singular or plural, or it's third person or first person, plays a very important role. For example, when a sentence is in, listen to me very carefully, singular number, third person. Okay, we are all familiar with first person, third person, singular number, plural number. So singular number, third person. When I give the example, it will get very clear. Singular number, third person, we add an affix, which is affix obviously, as all you know, it means what we add to a particular word. We add the affix s or es to the verb. So if the verb ends in ss, o, x, z, anything like that, sh, ch, then we add es instead of s. So again, when I give that example, it will become very clear. Instead of pass, we use passes. Instead of do, we use does. Exactly. So we are all familiar with it, just that we need to know the rule behind it. Instead of mix, we use mixes. Instead of catch, we use catches. So because pass, mix and catch, in case of mix, because it ends in an x, we add es. And in case of catch, since it ends in ch, we add es. If it did not end in any of this, we just add an s to it. So again, in case of present indefinite tenses, singular number, third person, we add an affix of s or es, which automatically means that we are using correct tense, s or es to. I'll just give an example and write an example, do, does being the most popular example. So this is one rule you need to keep in mind. Okay, now for the second rule. When the main verb is in future, we have to use present simple tense if the clauses are beginning with if, till, as soon as, when, unless, before any kind of time defining words, even if, until. So very simple, future, we use present simple. In case the verb is in future, we use present simple in clauses beginning with if, then, before. You get the idea. So once again, when I give the example, it will be very clear. We shall wait till she arrives. We shall wait till she arrives. See, we use because it's in future, the verb is in future, then we are using we shall wait as we are using present simple as for the clause. I shall not go there even if it rains. Again, rains, because it's in the future, we are again using present simple in the clauses. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Rule number 3. Present simple must be used instead of present continuous with verbs of perception. So we are used to using present continuous in case of most verbs, but in case of verbs of perception, which are feel, hear, smell, anything to do with perceiving anything. Verbs of cognition, believing, knowing, thinking, and verbs of emotion, hoping, loving, hating. So these are present continuous tenses which we do not use when we use present simple instead. We do not write, we are seeing with our eyes. We do not write that, are you hearing a strange noise? Instead we write, we see with our eyes. That's the correct thing, using the present simple instead of seeing. Are you hearing a strange noise is incorrect. Do you hear a strange noise is the correct thing when we use present simple in case of verbs of perception, verbs of cognition and verbs of emotion. Again, you can simply look up a variety of verbs of cognition, perception and emotion just in order to understand where we need to use present simple tense. Okay. Rule number 4. One must not use adverbs of past time like yesterday, last year, last month with present perfect tense. So adverbs of past do not really go with present perfect tense. For example, he has completed his book yesterday. This sounds incorrect because it is incorrect. He completed his book yesterday will be the correct thing. We are not using present perfect with it. Present perfect does not go with adverbs of past like yesterday. They have gone there a short while ago. Again, it sounds wrong. They went there a short while ago. So present perfect tense is not the exact fit. It's not the right fit for adverbs of past time. So adverbs of past time, and we do not use present perfect with it. Again, very simple rules, but once you get the hang of it, it gets even simpler. But again, these are all simple grammatical mistakes that we all make. Okay. Rule number 5. Use of since or for. We have to be very careful when we use since and when we use for. So since is for point of time, and for is used for period of time. For example, with morning, evening, etc., we use since, and with some time, hours, months, we use for. So since is for point of time, and for is for again a period of time. So if we remember this simple rule, we will not be confused about when to use what. Example being, we have been doing this for a week. Again, period of time, so use for. She has been cooking since 7 p.m. Point of time, so since. Okay, rule number 6. If 2 or more actions took place in sequence in the past, we use simple past to denote the action. Normally, we use past perfect to denote an earlier action. But if there are 2 actions which have happened in the past in order, then we usually use the conjunction before, and along with that we convert the tense to past simple. It's no longer past perfect. For example, he switched on the light before he opened the door. Again, we are not using past perfect here. We are using simple past because there are 2 actions. The train started just before I reached the station. Same thing, because there are 2 actions in sequence, we use simple past. Very simple thing. If there's 1 action happening, then we use past perfect. If there are 2 actions happening in sequence, we use simple past. And rule number 7. The use of simple past with wish and if only shows unreal past and present state of the things. Example, again, this is depending on interpretation. It's not so much about a rule, but if someone says, I wish I were a millionaire, it automatically suggests I am not a millionaire. If it means that if only I know her is a sentence, then it automatically means I don't know her. Obviously, there are exceptions, but it's a very important rule to remember that when we are using simple past with wish and if only, it usually indicates something about the present. And there's another subclause to this, which is like if the principal clause is in the, we all know what are principal clauses and subordinate clauses. So if the principal clause itself is in the past tense, then the subordinate clause should also be in the past. For example, my father assured me he would buy a bike for me. So it's not he will buy a bike for me, it's he would buy a bike for me. He failed because he didn't work hard. So as simple as that. So these are things we need to keep in mind. Again, there are tons of such rules, but I just focus on some of the important rules that we often make mistakes about. So once you know these rules, even answering questions such as error correction or proofreading something or figuring out the mistake in a huge essay you have written gets easier once we know these basic rules about tenses. I hope this really helped, and I hope you all will get a better hang of tenses from now on. Thank you so much.